everyone, my name is Cynthia Hendrickson and I want to welcome you to day 5 of the Lumia Zip Up Hoodie Sew Along. Today we will be finishing the bottom hemband. We will be finishing the inside of the hood or collar right along here. We'll be doing top stitching and adding a channel for the drawstring. So it's a very close to the end kind of day. We are getting really close and I bet you're feeling super excited about how your jacket is looking at this point. As always, I've included hyperlinks in the show notes. If you want to skip any steps, you can just link to the part that you want to see. And I also have cue cards in between all of the steps, so you could also just scroll until you see the next step that you want to watch. I hope you enjoy the videos. If you still need the pattern, I have the links in the show notes for the pattern as well as a coupon code. Let's get started. In step 18, we will finish the bottom of the hemband. So I have my jacket laying with the right side up on my table. And what we're going to do is take the bottom of the hemband on each end and fold it up. So right now you see my zipper is here. I have the twill tape on and the twill tape is still hanging off the edge, but it's stitched on in the last step. So right now I'm going to work on this little corner right here. I'll take the hemband and right under the zipper tape or the zipper stop, I'm going to fold it up. And you should be able to feel the zipper stop right there at the bottom. And I'll fold it up like that, and then I'll fold right back down this little bit that I finished. And you want to fold it down so that it's even with the top of the hemband, or the top of the hemband right here, where it connects to the front of your jacket. So bring it up and then fold it back down. And we'll pin it in place. Okay. And the twill tape only comes up a little ways. So I've clipped that side, and then we'll come over and fold up against this zipper stop. Get the twill tape folded as well. And then we're going to fold this edge back down so that it's even with the other side of the hemband. Just like so, okay? So we're going to just stitch this end right here. We'll take that over to the machine and do it right now. Okay, to complete step 18, we are just going to stitch this folded part of the band that we just folded. I want to be very careful that I neatly stitch this bit that's folded over on the top and keep it in line with the other side of the band. But I also want to be careful that I follow the stitch line that I made when I attached the twill tape, which you can see from the underside. So I'm actually going to make 2 separate stitches and just connect them. So I will stitch this bit right here, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'll start from the bottom and stitch all the way down that stitch line. I still have the zipper foot attached, and I'm using the straight stitch with the standard stitch length. Okay, so I've just carefully stitched the little folded this little folded bit on top, and now I'm going to flip the whole thing over and I'll just stitch the rest from the other side. Oops. and connect. I've got that zipper stop on the bottom, so I want to be careful with my needle that I don't hit it, which I shouldn't if I follow the original stitch line. Give myself a good back stitch. Just carefully maneuvering around that zipper stop. Okay, and now I'm back up to the part that I stitched a minute ago. Lock my stitch. Okay. All right, so here's how it looks at the moment. When we flip it, it's going to look like this. So we'll have a really nice looking zipper. Just like that. For step number 19, we are going to attach the other collar piece. So right here, I have my jacket laying face with the right side up, and I have my other collar piece here that's not been attached yet. If you have a fabric that frays, you will have already finished this longer bottom edge. What you'll do is you'll take the collar piece and lay it with the right side down against the jacket, and we're gonna pin all the way across the top and these two short ends. Now, your twill tape may be sticking out like mine is, and that's okay. What you need to do is make sure that you line up the corner of the unattached collar piece with the corner of the attached collar piece. So the twill tape will still be sticking out on the side. Just don't try to line up the corner of the second collar piece all the way there at the edge of the twill tape, because that won't work. Now when we go down on the side, you'll have to lift up and make sure that you're lining up the two edges of the collar piece, since that twill tape is sticking out. Now, when we get to the bottom, make sure to turn up the collar piece so that we'll have a finished edge on this side that's the same length as the finished edge on the other side. So you just turn it up 3/8. It should be exactly 3/8 of an inch, and pin it in place. And you can look in from this edge here and just make sure that they line up with each other. And same on the other side. So I'll lift it up and be looking from there. Then I'll turn up this edge. Okay, now that we have it all pinned, we'll take it over to the machine. All right, we are back at the machine to stitch the collar on that we just pinned. We're gonna stitch all the edges that we just pinned. Still have my zipper foot on because I'm stitching close to that zipper. And I'm being very careful to keep my finger away from the needle. And I'm also feeling where the zipper is. Okay, at the top, we will stitch straight across the top. So that is stitched. And then we will take it back to the table to clip it and turn it. For step 21, we're going to turn the collar or the hood, if you're working with a hood, so that it's right side out. And before we do that, we need to clip these corners so that we can have a nice corner on the outside of our jacket. So we'll go to both corners and clip them. And basically all you're doing is cutting a diagonal snip as close to that stitch line as you can without actually clipping the stitch line. Clip the hem as well. And again, this is in preparation for step 21, but I think the clipping is actually its own step, step number 20. So we are just going to clip close to that stitching down at the bottom, just being real careful because you don't want to clip the actual stitching. On this bottom edge, there's only one stitch line on the side, not along the bottom, so just clips a little diagonal snip close to that stitch line. And then we can go ahead and turn them both out. Okay, our next step is to pin these. I will be using some Wash Away Wonder Tape, but before pinning them, I have a recommendation and something that I'm going to step away to do before I come back and pin, and that is to push out these seams and give them a quick press with the iron. Can you see how it's real bubbly right now? I want to push out that seam and press it so that it lays a little flatter. We're going to prepare for top stitching now, and we're going to be working on the inside of the jacket and going to be a little fussy about it because there's a whole lot of action going on under the jacket, and you don't want anything to be shifting and moving around while you stitch from the outside. So I am beginning by applying some more Wash Away Wonder Tape. This stuff is like the hero of this jacket. If you don't have any, I recommend picking some up. It's a tremendous help. So I am just lining it up all along the inside here, just above this stitch line of the seam where you attached the first collar to the jacket. So I will slowly start peeling it away as I lay this flat, the top piece flat, and then fold under, just so the edge of the fold goes to that seam line. And I'll just do a little bit at a time. Some more pins now if I want to, but now when I turn it over, I know that as I stitch along here, because I taped it down, I know that I will be catching the collar on the other side. So that's how that is helpful. We're also going to do the same thing to the hem, but this time we're just going to attach the tape to the actual hemband, or pins. If you prefer, you can just do the pins. Just flip it over, fold it under, and attach it right along that seam line. You want to make sure that the seam line is covered. We are also going to be top stitching along here. We're going to top stitch this twill tape down. Over to the machine and top stitch it. Now we will do the top stitching basically all around the jacket. We will start by top stitching where the collar attaches to the jacket or the hood, and then we will top stitch where the bottom band attaches to the jacket, and those will be 2 separate stitches. It's really thick at the end, so I'm going to go slowly. Dare I peek? Okay, so it's all on the collar. Now we get the hem band. Top stitched the hemband to the jacket, and we top stitched the collar to the jacket. We will top stitch all around the outer edge, except for the very bottom outer edge. So we will go along the zipper tape all the way up the side, all the way up to the very top of the collar and go across. And then we will turn and head back down all the way down the zipper tape on the other side to the bottom. My zipper tape is 1 inch from the edge of the teeth. So I will keep that in mind as I top stitch all the way around. I will stitch a little less than 1 inch, maybe 7/8 of an inch. And I'm sort of holding onto the teeth with my right hand and pulling my fabric away from my teeth with my left hand, and that'll help to make sure I don't have any fabric bubbling over toward the zipper teeth. Now when we get up to the top, we're going to top stitch very close to the top edge. top stitching is complete. So there it is, all along the outer edge. There we go. If you're adding a drawstring to either the hood or the collar version, you'll need to make a channel for it. And so we need to stitch 1.5 inches away from the edge. I use a straight stitch and I just lengthen it. And then you can follow the markings on your sewing machine to help you with that 1.5 inch line. And the other thing that you can do to make it neater is to iron this edge before you stitch it. Okay, then you can pull your drawstring through. It'll go all the way across the top and out the other end. So how did day 5 go? Let us know in the comments or head on over to the Greenstyle Facebook group and let us know on the day 5 sew along post. Just search #LumiaSAL to find all our posts for the week. We look forward to hearing from you.